Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Gong. I'm the CEO of impulseflyer. impulseflyer is an online luxury travel agency specializing in luxury and boutique hotels in Asia Pacific. So we have an excellent range of hand-picked, curated hotels of the most amazing hotels, resorts, and villas. We're not just a website. We launched an iPhone app April last year. So when we launched the iPhone app, it was quite successful. We were #1 in travel in 5 markets. So Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Macau, and the UAE. So how to create a slick mobile user experience. From my personal perspective, there's 2 things that travel companies need to focus on, the first being more important than the second. And the first is that you need to have a fully responsive website. A fully responsive website, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail on the next slide, basically means that your website will adjust itself based on the size of the screen. So whether you're looking at your website on an iPad, on a BlackBerry, or PC, or whatever it may be, it's in a form that's very presentable and readable. The second priority only applies to certain travel companies, doesn't apply to everyone, and that is to develop native apps for the most popular mobile operating systems that are used by your customers. So through your current website, you'll have a very good understanding of what devices your customers are using. So based on that, you may prioritize iPhone rather than Android, or you might prioritize the other way around. So depending on which source market deliver the most business to you, that will essentially dictate how you should prioritize that. On that point specifically, I mean, if you're a single independent hotel, doesn't really make sense for you to create a native mobile app. You may have a customer who books at your hotel every week for some very strange reason, but even then they wouldn't really necessarily require a full-blown native app to use. If you're a large hotel chain, Starwood, Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, etc., obviously it makes a lot of sense. You have a loyalty program, very loyal customers, and thousands of hotels. If you're an OTA, of course, it makes a lot of sense as well. So going back to the very first priority. So the very first priority for, I think, absolutely everyone in this room is to have a fully responsive website. So as you can see on the screen there, that is a screenshot of impulseflyer.com on an iPad, on an iPhone, and on an Android device. And you'll see that when you use our website on a PC or a laptop or even on an iPad, you get the full-blown display. It uses the full width of the screen because the screen is a reasonable size. But if you go to the same website on a smartphone, like a Samsung S5 or S4 or an iPhone, the screen actually automatically adjusts itself to the size of the screen. So you'll see that instead of showing two hotels across, we show one. If you go to the booking engine is also, it effectively looks the same, but the button arrangement and the various kind of input fields are arranged differently so that it's very user-friendly to use on that specific mobile device. So from my personal perspective, I think that should be the absolute #1 priority for anyone looking at mobile, which should be basically everybody. So very quickly, some design elements to consider. It's a widely known fact that for an e-commerce site or a transactional site, speed is absolutely critical it has a very direct correlation to the percentage of conversion. So making sure that the site or the app is very fast is very critical. Clarity is of course very important. Particularly if you're developing for a mobile device, you have very little screen real estate, so you have to use it very wisely. It needs to read very easily, be very clear and uncluttered. I think it's very important to make it a very visual experience. Consumers, from everything that I've kind of seen since starting this company, from what I've seen, is that people don't read. I mean, I think people just we live in a society where people are just doing this all day, and they're only picking up like 5 or 6 kind of keywords and then using that to make a decision. And so I think it's very important to, particularly when selling travel, to make it a very visually focused experience. And you also have to think about what your specific aim is for the app. It could be to drive inspiration for people to travel, or it could be very specifically to do with undertaking a transaction using the app, whether it's booking a hotel or actually checking in through the app. So those are some of the things that you need to consider. And then, of course, as with websites, making the booking process, if it is a transactional app or site, as easy to use as possible. So minimizing the number of steps involved, and you could obviously introduce elements to make it to be like a single-click booking, so collecting credit card information and names and all that kind of stuff. An example that's not impulseflyer, that's doing very, that kind of hits the nail on the head, I think, in travel is Hotel Tonight. If you check out their iOS app, it's very clean, very uncluttered, very easy to use. I think one of the points of developing a native app is not to make it look like a website and behave and act like a website, and I think they did that very well. They utilize the various features and functionality of the iPhone to make the experience very smooth and incredibly user friendly. So I think that's one of their focuses. So in iFor Travel last year, I did a presentation on the state of the mobile web for hotel chains, and essentially I found 2 different types of implementation. The first type of implementation I saw last year is the do nothing approach, which is basically when you hit accor.com or starwoodhotels.com last year, you hit basically their normal website. So on a iPhone screen, it's very, very difficult to use. You can't really read without zooming in, zooming out. It was kind of not a very good user experience. The second approach was the strip it down to absolute bare bones approach, which Marriott, Hyatt, and Hilton had, which is basically there was like no photos whatsoever, very, very transactional, and kind of like the mobile experience you would expect if you were still holding like a Nokia phone from 5 years ago, which obviously nobody uses. So having a very quick look at 2013 versus 2014, Accor haven't done anything. So that's probably something that they should have a look at. Hilton has a native iPhone app, which is great, but in terms of mobile web, again, it's exactly the same as it was last year. Same deal with Marriott. They also have a native app, but the overall experience is still the very heavily stripped down approach. Starwood has changed dramatically. So from the do nothing approach, they've gone completely into a fully responsive website. So check that out on your smartphone. It works works incredibly well, and they did a really fantastic job on that. So the user experience has increased dramatically. I'm sure that they're seeing quite a big difference in conversion from mobile devices. Hyatt did exactly the same as Starwood. So they had the very stripped down approach, moved to a fully responsive website that looks and feels substantially better. And that's it. Thank you very much.